So I'm Abby Leese. I'm the pastor at Zion Lutheran Church in Edders.
And I'm Ben Leese. I'm the pastor of Holy Trinity Lutheran Church in York Springs.
And we are here to talk today about science and God, and how we can reconcile a belief in God with proof that science has offered that God doesn't exist.
Right. And I think the first thing here is that I would dispute any such proof that science presents, because science simply doesn't have, it's not part of the scientific inquiry to explore God.
So science doesn't have the tools, maybe,
Correct.
to talk about whether or not God exists.
Right, because science proceeds by disproving hypotheses, and it's virtually impossible to prove a negative. So science simply can't prove the non-existence of something.
Right.
And so I think it's just important to note the limits of scientific inquiry and the limits of theology and the limits of faith. We wouldn't read a French book to try to learn about biology, and so we shouldn't and so we shouldn't read a science book trying to learn about God.
Right. That's an excellent example. So oftentimes we think that we either have to believe in God or science, that we can't have both. We can't hold both to be true at the same time. For instance, we oftentimes hear people say, that you can't believe in evolution and the creation story at the same time. So as a biologist and a theologian, how do you feel about that?
Well, I think, again, the most important thing is to circle back to the limits of each. That when we study evolution, we're studying an earthly process. We're studying something that can be studied. And if God has given us intellect, well, then certainly it's open to study. I think when we read the Bible, reading a book that tells us about God, that exists to instill faith, it doesn't exist to tell us this is how the world was made.
In a scientific way.
Correct.
Right, in the way that you would teach a science class.
Correct.
The Bible is not, the purpose of the Bible is not the same.
Correct.
But that doesn't make the Bible any less true.
Right.
We read the Bible to glean different information, perhaps.
Right. A book to instruct us in French is true, it just can't teach us math.
Fair enough. What are your thoughts about science and God? Are you comfortable with the idea that you can hold both of them to be true at the same time? Are you comfortable with the idea of the Bible not giving information in a way that a scientist would wish to have that information?
Right. And I think the other important thing here might be that word believe. I don't believe in science. The methodology of science is very powerful, but I don't believe in it.
Did I say that you believe in it?
No, but you use the phrase.
I've used that word before.
Believe in science and God, and when we use the word believe in science, we're using that word radically differently than the way we use it to talk about our faith, about our trust in God.
Right. Thanks for watching. So you can find me at www.lutheransonline.com/Zion Edders.
And my church's website is yorkspringshttlc.com.